Okay, hello, welcome back to another game of chess. Today we are facing the move d4, and I'm going to play an old Benoni here with c5. Now, recently it's come to my attention that I've gotten a little carried away with over-editing these videos. I kind of feel like, your guys' attention is a valuable commodity for me. And so I think when editing, I've just been cutting out any dead space whatsoever. And I don't know, I feel like the videos are feeling a little bit too fast-paced. I got a comment recently that seconded this notion that I've been feeling in the back of my mind. So I thought, first of all, thanks to whoever that guy was, the constructive criticism genuinely is helpful. Also, I've had requests to reintroduce some lo-fi beats. So, this video, I'm going to try and do minimal editing, or, as minimal editing as is necessary to kind of, keep the general flow of the video, and reintroduce the lo-fi beats to maybe make that dead space sound a little less, painfully silent to my ear when I'm editing. Anyway, enough of that, enough of the, behind the scenes of the channel. We're playing knight to f6 here, 50 seconds on move 2, not ideal time management. I'd imagine we probably see the move c4, to which we will, of course, play a Benko gambit. We could also see knight c3, and we'll play a woozle, but we see c4, fantastic. Benko gambit, b5, are you going to take? They do, we'll play a6, and they fully accept, or maybe they play a Zaitsev system. I don't know. I'm very glad I discovered the Benko gambit. They do play a Zaitsev system. Wow. It's a response to d4 that's just very interesting and offbeat. We're going to take here, knight takes, and then there's a pretty cool line, or, well, it's a relatively forcing little reply. It's a good thing to know if you try and play the Benko, if they go for this Zaitsev system. And then take, of course, queen a5, drives that knight back to c3 by force, else we're just going to win the knight. And then, ignoring that slight voice break, we're going to go knight to e4 here, and after bishop d2, we are going to just simply trade that bishop off the board, getting the bishop for our knight. The kind of philosophy of the opening then would be to make our bishop as best as it possibly can be, that dark squared bishop as best as it possibly can be. Okay, brilliant, they go for queen c2. Well, that's that thrown out the window. The best move here is just to take. And if queen takes, unfortunately, the queen trade is the best idea. Now, I say unfortunately, this opening does allow for some really sort of mature endgame play. Black's pawn structure is just superior. Okay, they just take with the pawn, fair enough. We're going to go g6 and bishop g7, nevertheless. We're going to put a lot of pressure on this pressure point. We've also got a lot of pressure exerted on a2 by the rook and queen. But yeah, black just tends to have this superior, sort of solid, very stable pawn structure. The pawn's on a2 and maybe the pawn on c4. For instance, sorry, this is on c3 right now, but if it goes to c4, this becomes a targetable, blockaded backwards pawn. It's a backwards pawn regardless, but they can always push it. And so we haven't quite blockaded it yet. However, very often what will happen is the kind of pawn structure will get locked up, and then we can prod and poke at these pawns, hopefully try and win them both. And then in the endgame, we just have this extra pawn here on c5 that will eventually be bolstered by d6. Hopefully, a protected passed pawn, I mean. Et voila, precisely what was predicted is occurring. Now the question is, do I sack my queen? I absolutely could sack my queen here. Takes, queen takes. I pick this up. Do I feel good about that? I mean, it is an opportunity to make this a very exciting and interesting game. If I was being accurate, if I was trying to, win at all costs here, I think probably we could just play like queen a3, and then if rook b1, maybe take. Although is there a problem? Because takes, you could take this, but then I go check, and then bishop here, and then check, and then here, and then my bishop's hanging, and so is my rook, which gets a little stressful. And if I save the rook, then you take my bishop, and that's actually checkmate, is it? Okay, I mean, there are complicated lines here. I think I simply have to, I just can't turn down the opportunity to sack my queen for the bishop and rook here. We get the absolutely gorgeous and unrivaled dark squared bishop. I mean, originally we went for this Zaitsev system idea, trying to, tempt my opponent to bishop d2 to be able to get that bishop for the knight. We have to spend a little more than we'd budgeted for. We spend a tiny bit more material than is ideal. However, I still think this is very interesting. I think I've got a lot of opportunities for counterplay. I think rook a3 immediately is a compelling looking move. Simply threatening bishop c3 and saying, what are you doing about that? Hold on, there's no way I can get away with rook a3 straight away. I mean, it damn well feels like I can. Rook to a3. I'm gonna play bishop c3. I'm just asking a very difficult question here. And the question is, are you gonna move your queen or your king? If you move the queen, check, and you have to move the king anyway. Maybe the bishop can come back and sit on b4 eventually and defend the rook if that's necessary. Although the queen can't come to b2 to attack the rook, so I don't think I should be too worried about that. I mean, you move well, you can't move the bishop. The rook has basically useless moves. They do attack this. We can still give the check. I feel good about this. This is forced, or no, it's not, because you have knight d2. The queen's attacking this, and also, of course, my bishop. I feel as though bishop b4 is kind of the only idea. But then if you play e3, do I just take here? and I win because of the pin and win. Hold on, let's take a sip of this ice cold. Look at my, we got the cool opening. I know I've shown this before, but this is like my favorite thing about moving into my new places that I've got. I got these cool bottles. I've always loved them in restaurants. Okay, bishop b4. The question is now, what do you do about rook takes a2? I mean, you should have done something about it, like queen b1 at least. You just lost here, no? What? I must be completely winning here. The weak dark squares, the soft dark squares, what should they have played? I mean, we're going to analyze this game in relative depth, because if this could be prep, if this queen sack is at least playable, oh my lord, they resign. I sacked my queen and won in 16 moves. What? Okay, I mean, let's just hit the analysis board real quick. Hit a computer analysis. There's no way. Presumably just queen b1 right there. But you do probably still want to stay tied to the knight, so maybe queen c2 or something? Hold on. Hold on, hold on. As this graph begins to formulate, are you joking? How bad is it? Playable. 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 I'm gonna play this. This is now prep. I can't believe this. It's playable. It's not the best move, and yeah, queen a4. Okay, you trade the queens here. This is under pressure. This is under pressure. Your rook's hanging. Yeah, okay. Okay, fine. But no one cares because queen takes d2 is absolutely playable. Queen takes rook. Oh no, sorry. I of course take there. Rook a3 then. Check is a blunder. What? Oh wow, I should have taken this first. How is that a blunder? Because then here, and I guess queen here, and I just can't take on a2. And they're going to be able to get castled, and probably cashing in on this pawn and having the pressure along here might have been more appropriate. Ah, that's a problem. I see that. I feel as though blunder is a little harsh. Let's let the engine... Yeah, look, you let the engine start to run, and it doesn't consider it that bad. King d1, I'm happy to see. Knight d2, bishop b4 clearly. And then you just... I mean, yeah, the blunder they made was just playing e3, because of course then this, and the point is that whatever you play, I'm going to be able to take this knight for free. Or you can sack your queen back, but then I'm stopping even more material. King here, I win the queen. King here, I just go here and like try and mate you here somehow. I mean, what a ridiculous line. But it prefers, in this position, rook a2, and I'm actually slightly better, and that's all objectively sound. Rook takes a2, then e4, bishop b2. What if you do this and attack my rook? Then rook a1, obviously. Okay, fine. Queen c2. I can give the check here and your king's still dislodged. Okay, so the idea of taking here is I'm still going to get the check. Because I was at least slightly baffled as to how, you know, dislodging the king and getting the check, or at least, you know, making them walk into the pin wasn't a good idea. But the point is that after whatever they do here, you know, maybe even e3, bishop b2, and I'm going to be able to play rook f1. Sorry, rook a1. Hell, rook f1. Whatever happens here. And I mean, queen c2, rook a1. You've got to bring the king probably to here. Then I can return here. This starts to look gorgeous. Castle here. Get the bishop moved, get the knight moved, bring the other rook in, stack. Oh my lord, this is prep. I cannot believe it. What an unbelievably excellent game. We've formulated a new ingenious attacking idea. Now, if I look objectively, there are a bunch of better moves, you know, queen a6, queen a4, queen a3. Taking here, though, the fact that this is even close to playable, and the fact that the best move is this, after takes, I guess e4, and we just return to g7. Wow, okay. Right, I mean, hopefully we'll be seeing this again on the channel, because this is honestly... You know, if they play the Zaitsev system, takes, queen here, back, going in here, bishop d2, I'm happy because I take, queen c2, very compelling. They, of course, attack this, defend this, takes, fianchetto. I mean, this is extremely natural, and we're going for this. That is gorgeous. I can't believe I just won 6 elo from that, and it wasn't even dubious. I say it wasn't dubious. It was listed as a blunder, but, you know, plus 0.8, that's not dubious. I think what we've got to do... Ooh. I just got a challenge come through from a random account. Now, I get quite a lot of random challenges, of course, being a major chess celebrity. You know, I'm assuming this is a subscriber, so honestly, this video was a little short anyway. I needed something to, you know, a cherry on top, let's say, for the video. And I was going to just play a blitz game and then maybe a bullet game, you know, one of each type. I think I've done that before. But, I mean, we just get, you know, some divine intervention. chinbHA, shout out to you, mate. I mean, hopefully you'll be watching this video. We're going to play knight f6. Okay, we're going to... Is this 5-0? This is 5-0. Okay, cool. They play d4. This is we're just going to play against a 17-21 and see what happens. Here? Oh man, I wish we'd got that exact line of prep. That would have been so insane. Although I highly doubt that they would have necessarily gone into all of that. Okay, we're playing c5. I like trying to strike at this. This is... I mean, if you're a Will Taylor Chess subscriber, dude, what are you doing? Come on. What are you doing? Seriously, what are you doing? e3? E3 and G3, right, there's a major reason, let's take this as an opportunity to be instructive, there's a major reason you shouldn't pair these two pawn pushes, and it comes down to the fact that now no white pawn ever in the rest of this game, no matter the sequence of moves, will defend the f3 square. That is a hole, that is a potentially exploitable hole. I'm gonna take inwards here, maybe play for d5, and then knight c6, eventually break here, hopefully sneak past with e4, maybe get a bishop here and just, you know, try and squeeze that hole. I'm basically gonna try and show that if you have a sort of, you know, a game plan oriented around a permanent structural weakness, you can just make it happen. So we're going to try and exploit this, you know, as a matter of absolute urgency. Okay. E5 immediately I like as a central break. We're holding this enough. If you take, we're not holding this enough anymore. If I now lose to a 17-21, that would kind of ruin the video. That would ruin the video. That would massively ruin the video. Oh my god. Okay. This is unfortunate. This is definitely unfortunate. Takes. I suck at chess. How do I suck this badly at chess? Oh my lord. Okay. Well, I've lost a pawn here. No, I haven't. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm actually a genius. I knew my opponent wasn't going to take that. And so, okay, can I get away with bishop g4 here? You take, I could go takes. And then I guess if queen takes, bishop takes, I get to take this. So bishop g4. I just really want to exploit this f3 square. I can't believe I just blundered. Oh my lord. So bishop g4. If takes, bishop takes. I take here, you take, and then I recapture. And I feel like I'm better there. I think I get away with bishop g4 here. I don't know. Maybe I'm miscalculating something. But if you take like this, you know, you get a pawn, I get a knight. You get a knight, I get a knight. You get a bishop, I get a knight. And hold on, what? There's some symmetry there that's not making sense in my head. Right, they play h3. I think it's time to just go into f3, using this hole, exploiting this hole, absolutely sending it immediately as quick as possible towards this f3 hole. We're going to get rid of that light square bishop. I think tactics might have worked out in my favor there. I am fairly sure, though, that in the original instance, I did just blunder my d-pawn. However, that's okay. I can live with that. Right. I think I'll start by taking this. You can't take it because I just nabbed this. Opponent's playing well, honestly. I don't think I've asked very difficult questions. And so, you know, this position kind of sucks for me, let's be real. At least immediately. Like, I'm going to get hit with stuff like this. I might just go back here to try and play d4 to get in on the light squares. I think I probably will do this. Although here, do you play knight b5? What the hell is going on? Why am I going to lose to a subscriber that is rated 500 elo less than me? Maybe I just go here. But then do you take? What if I just play, like, knight here? Okay. I think this is kind of reasonable. We're going to tickle this bishop, maybe thread to take, although this is supporting it. I mean, bishop e7, I'm having to play kind of passively right now. This is immensely marring the previous performance, which was just an absolute stroke of genius and an exploitation of what can only be described as the greatest new bit of opening prep of all time. I think now, okay, bishop there, fine. Bishop e7. You can absolutely win this pawn. I mean, this pawn has been able to be won on several different occasions. There's no increment here, by the way, I should say. What an absolutely garbage performance from me so far. Okay, right, let's castle, and at least I'm castle now. I'm still confident I'm going to win the game, of course, unless my opponent is a little smurf. No, they are not a smurf. Okay, fair enough. I guess I'm just bad, and that is takes, knight takes. Queen takes? Oh, man, angling for the queen trade? That sucks. Let's play queen b6, hold this, pressure on this, get a rook to the d-file. I mean, down a pawn, who cares? Because I'm going to put my knight here, try and get your queen off of this file, queen c6, and then exploit that f3 hole. That's all I'm looking to do here. Maybe my focus on this this weakness has kind of rendered the game, you know, a little less mature than it possibly should have been. Are you going to play like queen b5? No Will Taylor Chess subscriber surely plays queen b5. I'm going to start with rook here. If you play queen b5 and, you know, really try and force a queen trade, I'm just going to step back, of course, but I'll be disgusted. I will be disgusted. I'll be absolutely disgusted. I say that I've been caught trading queens a few times recently. Okay, good stuff from the subscriber. I think I might just go straight back to here though, because I want to compete for that c6 square, and if you go back to here, I can go rook d8. I just want to get you off the diagonal. I also had this actually, damn it, why did I not do that? I wanted that move so badly. Okay, that was a little short-sighted. I definitely wanted knight e5. Hopefully they go to d3 and give me knight e5 with tempo anyway. Knight e5 with tempo anyway. That was very out of tune, excuse me. If here, I might just go rook e8. I mean, the queen's dancing here. I don't know, I feel as though, and there we go, and there we go. Look what happens. Look what happens. The f3 hole. The f3 Oh, my opponent's played very well, by the way. Check here. Knight here, though. Ooh. Ooh. Interesting. I can win a rook, of course. I do have check here. Knight. No, I don't, because queen takes. Okay, what if I go rook d8 to start? I always have this winning the rook. I have this potentially. I don't know, let's say like you... Well, that's not possible. In fact, it kind of looks like it might be. Hold on. Am I an idiot? I think I sack. Go check here. Something like that. Okay. What if I go check here, knight here now? Let's go in for it. I just like it. And I can bring the knight in now that the queen doesn't see this square. The rook's hit, of course. So's the knight. The knight is attacked twice. And if you try and flee this way, I have rook e8 check. I mean, again, the goal of this was to show that a permanent pawn structural weakness can be exploited with ease. With absolute ease. And I think that's what we're showing here. I think the f3 hole is being absolutely abused. And, you know, you can go back, but I'm going to come across with the other rook. You go this way, you walk into mate in 1. How many other legal moves are there? You could sack the queen, I guess. What on earth is going on here? King c4. Okay. They resign? Dude, I might have flagged there. I mean, I'm sure I would have just sort of taken this comeback here. The king did have to go to c4 there. But GG to my opponent. That was rated!